you've been in this journey for 9 strong years. I've been in this only for 3 years.
The problem of mental health in an IIT is much more than the mental health problem in the junior schools. And if you love it, if I'm seeing myself doing this 20 years from now, what's the problem? What's the hurry? When you start the next game in tennis, no matter what happened in the previous, you should love all. So love all means you're zero, because you will again be told that there are a lot of people who have unlimited amount of money and they have such a big valuation.
Correct.
Why are you not there?
Hi, my name is Ria Rustagi and I'm the co-founder and CEO of Neuphony. And I would like to welcome you all to the podcast series called as Brain and Beyond. And today I'm very privileged to call Anshuman Mishra, the CEO and co-founder of Loanadda, one of the leading fintech companies in India right now, to this podcast. Thank you so much for joining us. Anshuman, you've been in this journey of entrepreneurship for 9 strong years. I've been in this only for 3 years. How are you this strong, this resilient? What keeps you going day in, day out? Go back to the same office every day and keep working on your mission.
Thank you for having me over. The first thing I saw that when I started doing my MBA or started doing my first job, I'll tell you the reason I started Loanadda, first, where it came from. See, my dad had a business, a surgical cotton manufacturing business, cotton balls. And during 82, 83, that was a pioneering effort. And that too, he was doing in a very small state, Orissa. What I saw is that 95% of the time, sometimes even 100% of the times, was going and arranging finance.
Correct.
And I saw that now, the last 9-year journey, my clients, they spend 95% of the time. You take an SME, you take a large corporate, they are always on the lookout for money. So I said, what can I do to solve that problem?
Right.
It's a human problem. It's not a tech problem. So I started understanding what are the different factors. So this was in 99. I used to go to an SBI to stand in line to pay money to get an application form for MBS college. And then if it's lunchtime, they'll say at 1 o'clock, you come back at 3. You can't go back home, you have to stay there. So then when I started my MBA and I joined ICICI Bank, I said that banking is what I love to do.
Right.
And I understood why companies get money, why they don't, why people are able to attract capital and why some people aren't. Right. And the reason for that is the balance sheet. So then from ICICI, I went to Raymond to understand how a balance sheet is made or presented as a CFO.
Okay.
So there's a company called Color Plus, so I was the CFO there. Then from there I went to Bangladesh. So I was the CFO of the largest garment factory in the world there. So it had 40,000 dress pants every day. So to give you a perspective, Raymond used to make around 3,500. So 10 times Raymond size in Bangladesh. So in all the journey, and then again it's very esoteric, because then I went to Deloitte to do valuation for a year. Then I was in Avishkar, it's a investor fund company, impact fund company, one of the oldest. So then I said, okay. Then the idea Loanadda came. So in 2014, I said, I'll leave my job, which was against all family wishes, parents, friends. I said, I'll give myself 2 years. I have enough of money, because I was working around here and there was savings there. I said, I'll take 2 years. If it doesn't work out, I'll go back.
Right.
So I never came up with the very big ambitions of what to do, I said, let's start one by one. We started on a basement in DEFCON. By 2019, we had really made it, we had a lot of options of equity. We didn't take it because we wanted to have our own core. We didn't want to dilute what we wanted to do. But then once 2020 happened, COVID happened, that changed everything in one shot. So what did COVID do? The first COVID made us bankrupt. Bankrupt of money, bankrupt of ideas, bankrupt. See, one fine day in a corner of a room, you are not able to figure out what to do. That's the key problem in life, and you get into a rut, you get into a corner, and it's like chess. If anybody who has played chess, so when you're in some corner, what do? You can't just kick out. You have to find a way.
Right.
So once that loneliness sets in, because see, startup or entrepreneurship is a very lonely place.
I can understand that.
You can't tell your problems, tell your feelings one bad day with your team or with some investor, with some bad client can ruin your happiness. So then 2020, we raised our first round through our ventures in 2020, but by 2021 I got COVID. I got hospitalized. I had a 20 CT score, and for I think 8 days I was in hospital.
My God.
To top it on, within 3 days of me being in hospital, my wife also was in hospital with the same CT score.
And this is like April time where the second
Yes,
wave was
yes,
just
second
hitting,
wave.
and it was very
People
bad.
were dying like flies, in that hospital ward where I saw, and thankfully we, got over it. We then, of course, this was 2021 April 30th. I was in hospital. 2022 was cervical spondylitis. So the pressures of pain, and that breaks you mentally, physically. For one full year, I was just thinking, boss, now no more fundraise, no more pressure. I need to give myself a break. I need to be a bit kind on myself. If I have made a mistake, I'll just look at the mirror and say I fucked up, I screwed up, and laugh it off. But that's what you do, it's
That's what anybody would have done.
one thing which I was in a boarding school called Mayo.
Right.
So there sports plays a large role, and everybody. So there were like 120 people in a match. Everybody was good at something.
Right.
Somebody may be good at gymnastics, somebody was good at tennis or cricket or debating, or of course in academics. So you had a sense of self-worth, which I see is not automatically there.
Right.
In a lot of people outside. So first thing which I learned there is that the coach used to say, when you start the next game in tennis, no matter what happened in the previous, you used to love all. So love all means you're zero. Second, go with the compassion that you're not going out there to prove anything. You're just enjoying yourself. So then I said, so 2022 onwards, I had enough of all the pressure, panic, getting profitability in place, the tremendous pressures of performance metrics of profitability, the metrics of funding, or the returning the debt or the fund, all of that was crunching. And the worst part is that when a lot of people in the market tell you that your valuation of where you are is compared. So it's like Shreya, so you're telling about as bouncer problem. I said, what bouncer? Have you seen my pull shot? So in our field, you can't do that, and it all settles down.
Correct.
So when it settles down in a corner of your brain, it either एक घर बनाता है, or you have it, you can just rub it off. So for good 1 year, so let's say till 23, April, May, this problem of some health issue or some issue. Last 6 months, especially with the yoga schedule, or especially with the self-care, as you heard it, the thing started moving back in shape.
So you've touched so many great topics here. I cannot feel more relatable to a person, because the loneliness of a founder, when you go back home, you don't feel like talking to your parents because they will not understand. They'll say like, just rub it off, rub it off in the sense like, leave it, why are you doing this, you can just do something else. You can work at a very comfortable job where you'll just get paid no matter how good or bad you're doing at a company. Or even with your friends who are in the service industry, because they'll not feel relatable. Can you first, before I move on to what mental health of an entrepreneur is like, can you walk us into the day which causes the mental health issues into an entrepreneur's life? What is a standard day for you like?
See, the standard day, like we just heard Mr. Narayan Murthy say about 70-hour work week,
That's what I
and
wanted
that's
to
the in thing trending, and so many people were trolling, and of course Kunal Shah said about privilege, and Amrish Rao said reverse. Now see, an entrepreneur's day starts when you wake up. You watch your phone,
Yes.
and there are important things to do. You have
100%.
reminded people, you have to remind again, or you have to decide whether not to remind again. That's the worst part.
I know that.
So, and then you are reminded of things, you can't run away. So entrepreneurship is like, you are either a cornered rabbit, or you are a cornered, bigger animal. So what do you want to be? Nothing. You don't have to be any animal. You have to find a way that what has pushed you to that corner is our own likes, dislikes and our own thoughts. Nobody can push us to a corner if we don't want to be cornered.
Right.
Nobody can make us feel bad about ourselves, how we look, how we speak, whether we are speaking with an accent, whether we speak in a certain language, whether what's our health, unless we give them a space to decide about our life.
Correct.
So entrepreneurs do first think that, okay, you will be in the spotlight, you will be spoken about, you will be talked about. It's a good thing. So I studied a place called Institute of Foreign Trade, IFT. Okay. So during that time there was something called GATT, General Agreement on Trade Practices, and which became WTO.
Okay.
Okay. The first thing, if you see in that, is there's something called dumping.
Okay.
So dumping started initially was taken for steel, so this hot rolled steel.
Got it.
So if it is made in India for 750, that's the cost, and people are selling it for 850. When it coming from at 450 from China, that is because there was something called duty drawback. If you export, let's say 500 rupees or 500 yen worth of, the Chinese government will give you 20% of that money.
Okay.
To destroy other market.
Okay.
To destroy, purposely.
Purposely destroy the market.
Now, when you see the same thing, Chinese money coming in, and you selling a product for 2000, it costing you 1800. The other person, it's costing me 1800, he's selling it for 1200. I'm not able to compete. That causes health issues. That
Obviously.
causes, and if you tell to people, it says, it's, what do you call, angur khatte hain. So that time I read a book by, I saw an article, I saw a podcast only by Angela Duckworth on grit. So just stick on to it, what you're doing. So what I saw, if any entrepreneur, everybody asks, how you have been there for nearly a decade and as fund and so on. And my first answer is that whether you love it or not, as a rule, what you're doing, you have to do.
Correct.
Many times, whether it is a startup, relationship, you have to give it a lot. You can't say I'm having fun. Things are not fun. In an Indian system, it's about the grit. And today, if you see globally, the Indian economy is doing so well. You take any country. Why? The simple thing is that everybody is an entrepreneur. Somebody who's selling a thela momo.
Right.
Somebody who's got a journal store.
Right.
It's not a general store.
Huh.
Okay, it's called that. And they are also entrepreneurs. But the breed of entrepreneurs of startup who can speak in English and who have got funding have got a disproportionate amount of credit.
Right.
If they are having mental health issues, they need to see at the bottom of the pyramid how every day they will go, रेडी लगाएंगे, छोले कुलचे देंगे, and if the money comes, if they are suppose same day there is some dharna,
right,
there is some pradarshan, they can't. Sometimes the reverse, so they are businessmen, they'll make more money in that if they are going to sell. But as an entrepreneur, when I saw them, I got that determination that I should see with each passing day. And second thing is that what is the biggest tension of an entrepreneur? Money getting over or money not coming in. ठीक है?
Correct.
तो मनी नॉट कमिंग अपने हाथ में नहीं है, मनी है तो कितना है, तो मनी अगर है तो जो रिसीवेबल आ रहा है, you have to follow that up rather than the glamorous things of marketing.
Right.
Sometimes receivable follow up is less glamorous. You have to do the less glamorous things. So I said, okay, I will reduce the glamour part of my work. I have to do it myself rather than delegating.
Right.
One of the first things I heard some of my mentors or seniors telling me that you need to delegate. But then I said some things
you cannot.
When we tend to have a larger startup, when you have a lot of people employed, you need to take in your own hand when it's not doing well.
Right.
When it's doing well, you give the credit.
Due course.
In due course, you give them the credit and you let it over.
Right.
But few things. See, entrepreneur is a stepney in a car. Any of the wheels don't work, you come back there and you do that.
Right.
You don't do what you enjoy doing. So my typical day starts with where the firefighting lies.
Right. What are the problem areas? How you can take care of that?
Where is going wrong? And most importantly, the previous night or say the weekend, I like to read, because unless you read something, you will not have some outside thought, out of the box thinking. In Hindu terms, we say Brihaspati. That insight.
Insight.
Into the or English we call it out of the box thinking.
Exactly.
If you get an insight into something, you get eureka moment to solve it, and you find, okay, I'll go here. But you have to be conscientious, because you will again be told that there are a lot of people who have unlimited amount of money. They have made X amount of turnover, and at 5 times, 10 times, 20 times of loss, and they have such a big valuation.
Correct.
Why are you not there?
Right.
Everybody has their own journey. You'll reach there, figure out what you need to do, have the grit, and if you love it, if I'm seeing myself doing this 20 years from now, what's the problem?
What's the
hurry?
problem? Exactly.
I will see 1% growth.
And you would have to think how customers would think, because what is your problem might not be their problem. And even from not just customers' perspective, it can be from a team's perspective. I as a founder sometimes might think that this is right, but my team thinks B, my investor thinks C, my client thinks D. So my perception of the whole thing or problem solving technique would completely vary from what I need to do. And this is something which is very important from an entrepreneur's mindset, and I do believe that the mindset is everything. Now, talking about the mindset, what does mental health mean for you? Because I believe the word mental health is very misjudged. People don't understand what mental health really is. People think that depression, trauma, neurological disorders, all of that is just mental health. Rather than, I believe, from the minute you wake up to how well you sleep and how easily you can sleep and how your whole day goes, everything is mental health. What is your perception and what are your problem areas when it comes to mental health?
See, the way I've seen it, that mental health of a, let's say, a 12th standard student in India is far worse than the mental health of a 12th standard, academically at least, in different parts. You take a US, because I on the side also teach kids SAT.
Right.
So I have seen people across the globe and how they prepare, what they do. So to answer that, I'll say it's our psyche. When somebody is at 90-95% and wanting to reach to 100, they really push themselves and they're unhappy. But one thing which happens today, which is very, very prevalent, is that you will have failures. You will definitely be judged. You will obviously not be successful at everything, but how you take it in your stride. Because once you feel the problem is too insurmountable, my cash flows are so bad, my losses are so much, I'm never able to get over that. That comes. Even in my journey, it has come. But then it's natural, Once your hormones work and that kind of thoughts come, you have to take it over. You have to find a way that, okay, let it pass, make us busy in something, and the next day, next week, next month, you will have a solution. You will feel that you can, tide over. But one fine day when you see nothing works, then how do you cope? What kind of your defense mechanisms? Whether you have a fight or flight. Sometimes it is nothing, not fight or flight, just rest.
Right.
Or take a break. In a startup environment, you can't take a break. You can't not be seen. Because if you're not seen for just 2 days, a lot can change.
Yeah.
Yes, as you rightly said, that as a startup entrepreneur, you tend to always be in firefighting mode. But then sometimes the company is in normal mode. See, there'll be firefighting mode, there'll be normal mode. Just take the example of Twitter. Right. It was a $44 billion company. Today it's a $19 billion company. Because the person who was handling it was used to that adrenaline rush. Elon Musk was used to that adrenaline rush of that pressure, panic. And once you create, you're like a bull in a china shop. Indian parlance, Indian context, you do it very, very gradually.
Yeah.
And then you will see the problem. Somewhere you will push, you will prod, you will not, cut through. And let's say I am many times not right in many of the problems. My team is, what they're saying is right. Because they're saying in the normal state of things,
correct.
I am always thinking doomsday.
Right.
So I'm wrong.
Worst case scenario.
And when I'm wrong and I'm proven wrong, I have to just look at the mirror and laugh it off.
Exactly.
And days I have not been able to laugh it off. I have been stressed. I have been, not able to sleep, or in panic or in anxiety or panic attacks where your hands are sweaty. You're not able to move. You're not able to sleep. You're just seeing your Fitbit score. Days, weeks happen like that. Whether I slept or not. You are happy in the morning by seeing your sleep score rather than you're feeling fresh.
I know that.
And because you can't talk to anybody around, and once you talk, all hell breaks loose.
Exactly.
So, what do you do? So, these, of course, for some people, it's much more major problem, even for like students.
Right.
But you see, the problem of mental health in an IIT is much more than a mental health problem in the junior schools or
Correct.
colleges. Chill, masti mein, aag lage basti mein. So sometimes you need to switch over. So yes, to switch over, of course, my financial problems or way I feel that I have not reached. So let's say midlife crisis.
Right.
Okay, at 46, when I started this, I was like 36, 37. So then a point of time comes. Will I reach where I want to reach? Everybody has that. Will I reach? Or you feel that no, I will not. So you make amends because your body is changing.
Right.
Your body cannot wake up or take as much stress as it used to. When I was in ICICI, I was 26. A 20 year back, my body was different. 10 years back, when I started startup, when I was in Deloitte, I was different. So today, mentally you are changing, physically you are changing, and post-COVID, lot of chemical locha has happened. You don't know what has.
You will not even know it when it hits you.
What is hitting you, and every few days some new problem, and the problem lasting for longer.
For an entrepreneur to be forgiving towards yourself is a very difficult thing, but one of the most important things, because I'll tell you, the first year of the company, 2020 to 2021, and we were sitting, and then I was doing my fundraising. Okay? So it was my first year of doing books, financials. I'm an engineer by profession. And the fundraising was also happening, and investors were coming in. क्या हाल कर रखा है तुमने अपनी books का? And I was like, and I was just looking at the transactions that we did. I was like, we were so stupid. We spent money we thought कि 50,000 का website बनना is okay. We gave it in the first go where we just needed a one-pager website which could have been done free of cost if we decided to do it ourselves. But then at that time somebody told us कि delegation is important, so we decided to take that delegation. And then telling yourself every year that every year you will make some new mistakes, but as long as you are learning, it's okay, is very difficult. But you touched on a very good point here called as mental aging. And sometimes I just look at my pictures in 2020 and I look at my pictures now. It looks like I've grown 10 years in 3 years. And this is just physical, let alone mental. My face, my smile, the glow on my face, or how I feel. I believe my physical health has aged, I think 10 years in 3 years, and my mental age, I don't even know what it would be. What is your experience when it comes to this?
See, just few days back, we just taking out pictures when our child was born, and she's 5 years old now. When I was holding her when she was 1 year old, and I was seeing my Fitbit track of amount of hours slept and the sleep scores and weight. So in last 3.5 years, I also feel that I have aged 10 more years, and there are a lot of people like, let's say, Dr. Andrew Huberman, and the kind of things they say, and what they do. So I said, see, first thing is that keeping yourself as priority.
Right. Going
to doctors, or if you need to go to a shrink, to go to it, and it's all confidential. And as therapy, if you just take a spa, not a mental spa, just a physical one. A lot of housewives, 1 out of 4 housewives, we get a loan. But the housewives don't get a loan. You don't get it immediately. The housewife said, ठीक है, मैंने ये पार्लर का काम सीखना है, मैं ये सीख लूँगी, फिर मैं आती हूँ. So we have a mechanism. After 6 months, we will call. When they get a call from us, it's the best point of time in that 6 months. It's more than Diwali gift. मैडम आपका कैसा चल रहा है, भाभी जी कैसा, रीता जी कैसा चल रहा है, आपका क्या हुआ वो पार्लर का. हाँ, वो पार्लर का नहीं हुआ, हाँ, मगर मैंने ना एक पनीर का काम चालू किया है और मेरा ना अच्छा काम चल रहा है. ना मैडम कितना कमा रहे हैं? नहीं, अभी दिन का मैं 1500 कमा लेती हूँ. that they are earning 45,000 per month profit. Okay. Now 45,000 or let's say 6 lakhs of profit is more than what 80% of the unicorns are earning. Let's put it that way.
Correct.
So these women to me are unicorns of unicorns.
Perfect.
Okay. So if you tell them ठीक है आप एक पैन कार्ड ले लीजिए आधार तो है ही हम आपके कुछ लोन कर सकते हैं स्मॉल टाइम 5, 10, 20,000 लोन and then that the journey happens. So we never give up and we keep talking. And then my call center, that's why, doesn't have a target of achievement. They have a target of talk.
Conversation.
So they will converse with people, and then when I once at the time I was barging in, this call barging in my team, and I was listening to them. I said, this is what I want, man. My mental health is going for a toss. मेरे से कोई ऐसे कुछ बात कर ले कि मेरी ये दिक्कतें हो रही है, मेरी आधे प्रॉब्लम यहीं पर सॉल्व हो जाएगी. Then I said I was on the right path. I may not be earning as much money or valuation now, but if my callers are making 1 lakh calls and talking to people and giving them hope, what more do I want? So my goal was to give hope to my dad and kind of people, So my loanadda, the company's name is Adventure Infotech. Adventure. So Adventure capital means adding venture capital to people or adding venture to people who want to fly.
Correct. This is such.
They want to go on an adventure.
This is really beautiful, and I do also understand how helpful in changing this conversation part. Now, having a sweet call with somebody who wants to help you out, seeking loans, getting credit history.
Hope.
That hope is everything for a middle class family who wants to start some parallel source of revenue which is not that very capital intensive. It's just something very simple. It's, oh my god, this is really amazing. Now we'll do like a quick I will not say rapid fire, but kind of like that. I'll say some words.
I hope it's not like the
no, not at all, please. So when I say it's a rapid fire, like I'll give you some keywords with regards to mental health, and you have to say what causes these to you and how do you take care of it. So the first would be like what is regret?
See, of all the missed opportunities of many time, when you're younger, you're cocky, or you say that I am too good for this, or this is not my cup of tea or forte, or I want to concentrate. So mental health, or the kind of where I rewind, or let's say in graphology or handwriting analysis, when your handwriting starts slanting to the left. So it's when you think of the past. So to me, it's sometimes think of the past, and you have to quickly get it down. Okay, I've learned.
Okay.
I have done the wrong mistake, and I want to tell all the entrepreneurs or the people that first, accept you have done some wrong mistakes, some wrong choices. We all have. If you say you're perfect, it's not going to work. So I keep thinking what are wrong choices, but then I make my notes. I say ये mistake नहीं करूँगा, कोई दूसरा mistake कर लूँ.
Correct. Do you have an opportunity that you regret, and if you want to share that one?
See. Regret, of course, as an entrepreneur, startup is for funding. There was a organization called CIO Can, that was offering us funding. It was at the final stages, and because we had some alternate funding, so at a point of time we have a lot of the way first saying no, and then the way I said no was not something I was very proud of.
So I'm a person who's very much by the clock. I don't have alarms. My body wakes me up at 6:30 a.m, 7:30 a.m. I have my yoga, 8:30 तक वो चलता है. फिर my दीदी has to come at 9 o'clock. I have to get everything ready in an hour. I like it monotonous. I like that regularity because I believe that as a founder, I have very little control over things. आज ये बड़ा client close होगा कि नहीं होगा? Not in my hand. I'll try my best. Founder, investors close होंगे कि नहीं होंगे? Everything. You have to do everything. You have to be present at every investor pitch. You have to pitch like there's no end to it, right? पता नहीं कब आएगा fund, कब closure होगा, कब product बनेगा, कब launch होगा, कितनी sales. You can set goals, but these things are not in your control. And I like to get that control and discipline in my life through this routine. कि कुछ तो यार simple होना चाहिए. And then I let everything else be the variables in my life. So for me, this is my way of being resilient, as you said. Like उठ के जाना ही ऑफिस, मतलब घर से काम करना ऑप्शन नहीं है, मतलब और हाँ कर सकते हैं बट वंस इन अ ब्लू मून, बट आई डोंट थिंक सो दैट वर्क फ्रॉम होम, बीइंग रिमोट, आई एटलीस्ट हैव दैट इन मी एज अ फाउंडर कि मैं घर से काम कर लूँ, वरी ना करूँ. आई जस्ट फील दैट इट विल एड वन मोर लेयर ऑफ एंग्जाइटी इन टू माई रूटीन कि क्या चल रहा होगा, वॉट इफ आई एम नीडेड, वॉट इफ आई एम नॉट देयर एट द राइट प्लेस एट द राइट टाइम. So I would just like to say that Anshuman, this was very, very inspiring. I cannot believe how much I enjoyed this whole episode. I believe that I should just make it an entrepreneur's mental health podcast rather than just a mental health brain and beyond podcast, because we want to talk about that brain is way more than brain and the biology. It's the mind, it's the thought processes, it's everything that comes with it. We don't understand and believe in the power of brain. We don't know it yet. And this is what we want to do and start with. But I am so honored that you really came here. I think that I resonate a lot with your journey, and I am also getting inspired by your journey that, you know, as long as I'm resilient, I think I'll make it. I'll make it 9 years, 10 years, 12 years into this journey. But thank you so much for coming.
Thank you. Pleasure was mine.